A tropical depression over Guantánamo Bay. It's like the world's most famous detainment center wants to cleanse itself of all the criticism and notoriety.
Thank you.
And that's why we journalists have come here and are being led by soldiers on a tour of the camp. They want to show us the real Guantánamo, but I'm still skeptical.
They have these tours practically every week, so they're very professional. They tell you exactly what you're allowed to film and what you're not allowed to film. There's many soldiers who don't want to be recognizable on film. You're not allowed to film the detainees themselves. So it's going to be difficult 2 days for us as a television crew. We'll hope we'll find out what life is like in Guantánamo Bay anyway.
We have to film the prisoners out of focus or below the neck. Any film in which the inmates are recognizable will be deleted this evening. The detainees themselves can't see us. We're looking through mirror glass. I want to know how the people who never leave the sides of the prisoners feel, the guards. But again, we're mostly forbidden from filming them. Our group heads to the camp's administrative department. There's a guard there who's part of the tour schedule. She'll talk to us on condition of anonymity, as during the entire tour there's a US soldier present the whole time.
I don't feel no certain kind of way. That's it. I mean, they're humans. Everybody does something, but they act just like normal people. They don't act like monsters or nothing.
So is it a job just like any other? The soldiers here certainly see it as such, and it certainly feels pretty mundane. I have to remind myself that Guantánamo Bay has its own legal status, and that the current US administration had planned to close it down in September.
You visited the library already.
Right.
We visit Brigadier General Timothy Lake, Deputy Commander of the center. Does he have plans for closing the camp?
We have plans to close down Guantánamo upon the receipt of that guidance from our civil military leaders. We're prepared to, in a moment's notice, to start spinning the wheel in that specific direction.
President Obama personally announced Guantánamo's closure, but the order never got this far. So the detention center and the monitoring of its 174 inmates continue to cost the US government around $150 million a year, double the amount of any similar prison institution in the US.
The TV, the newspapers, so there's really nothing new that we're going to introduce them. On Fridays, they get Pepsi on Monday and Fridays to go with their feast meal. Our main line over there where you see we're clams.
The next stop on the journalist's tour, the kitchens. The cook doesn't want to be filmed, but he appears to have a well-polished routine. I ask him how the food compares to that in US prisons.
For what little knowledge I have on prison menus in the States, this is much better than the prison menu.
So, is this a gilded cage in the tropics? Technology at the hospital here too is state-of-the-art, and with more than 100 on the medical corps, the staff is an ample one.
This would be the opportune place. Other places right over here, which would be...
But it's back to hard Guantánamo reality when it comes to force feeding. The nasal tube is used to deliver honey or olive oil as a lubricant. Around 12 detainees are said to be on hunger strike at the moment. This is how they're force-fed. My companion shows me Camp X-Ray, the provisional camp from 2002, but now abandoned. I recall pictures of inmates in orange jumpsuits and ankle chains.
I believe they were the interrogation rooms.
At the time, the Red Cross categorized its interrogation methods as torture. But the prison commander rejects all claims of torture during interrogation.
No, we call them interviews, and they voluntarily. There's none. If a detainee does not want to go through an interview, he doesn't. It's requested by them. Things that my guards will not provide them, or I will not provide them. The interrogators can give them that. It may be a meal from McDonald's.
Suspected crusaders against the capitalist West agreeing to interrogation for a meal from McDonald's? I need some time to digest that one. There's more to Guantánamo Bay than just the relatively new detainee camp. The Navy base has been here for more than a century. It's a real town with around 7,000 inhabitants. From the edge of the settlement we can see the mountain peaks on Cuba. The Cuba of the Cubans. But Guantánamo Bay is also Cuba. The Americans are paying rent, around $4,000 for 120 square kilometers. Sources say that in Fidel Castro's office, around 800 kilometers away, the rental checks are piling up uncashed in protest at the Americans' presence. The scheduled tour for journalists continues without a break. Back to the camp we visited at the start. Here, those prisoners deemed compliant have been allowed to live communally for around a year. They can attend courses, in art for example. A soldier here tells me it has helped reduce the suicide rate dramatically. And he says there have been no prison revolts for a few months. Art as therapy. We're allowed to see the results in the library, but only after they've been approved, in case they bear any secret messages. There are thousands of books in Arabic and Russian here, even Harry Potter. And there are daily newspapers. However, they're subject to certain restrictions. The librarian explains the black marks.
That's because detainee requested for us to black out female faces.
Okay.
But communal life is not open to everyone. We visit Camp 5, the place where those who violate prison rules are sent. Infringements include being violent, disobeying instructions, or throwing bodily waste at guards. The punishment? Solitary confinement and the notorious orange uniform. The courtyard here is small too. Those in solitary confinement are given 4 hours a day out here. Those in Camp 5 have fewer liberties than those in the communal camps. I'm told that's why so few inmates break the rules. Shift change. The journalist's tour of the camp is over. Was that the real Guantánamo?
We've seen many things on this tour. It's absolutely packed, the program for journalists, but it's also clear you don't see everything on a tour like this. You don't see the questioning, you don't see the trials. So it's good to get sort of an impression of the camp, but at the same time, you don't get the whole truth about Guantánamo Bay on a tour like that.
I've only been here 2 days, but I'm glad to be leaving again. Conditions at Guantánamo may well have improved, but its notoriety will always endure.